Yes, hello, it's Mark Barrett here, Property Tax Advice and Riverview Portfolio. Quick video, simply because I've been asked the same question twice this week, and that is about the stamp duty on student lets. As with everything related to stamp duty, it needs to be very carefully handled, and the starting point is to define the property. And there are three different types of student let, and each one has their own rules for stamp duty. So let's just go through the property details and identify the stamp duty. So the first type of property is where it is owned by the university, usually on the campus itself, and what you and I might usually call the halls of residence. Now, whilst it's called the halls of residence, actually the property is not deemed to be residential property. Therefore, multiple dwellings relief can't apply because it's not a dwelling. But the only SDLT rate that you've got for a typical halls of residence type property would be commercial rates of stamp duty. Now, the second type of property would be property that's not on the campus, not owned by the university or whatever, but there's say a council restriction or something relating to it that stipulates that it can only be used for students. So we're not halls of residence, and it's not a typical HMO. It is restricted that it can only be used for students. Now, this is a residential property. As a residential property, yes, you're going to pay residential rates of stamp duty, but you have the advantage that there is the ability to apply multiple dwellings relief. Now, we've talked about that in another video. I'm not going to repeat it here. If you need advice on MDR, please let us know. The third one is the one that always comes up because everyone keeps saying, yes, I've got some student accommodation. But the reality is there isn't a restriction that forces it to be used for students. It is an HMO, and the user of the property, the owner of the property, decides that that's the market they're selling to. They're just selling to students. But that's fine, but it's not student accommodation. It's an HMO that's used by students. Again, it's residential rates of stamp duty. Multiple dwellings relief will apply, and commercial rates of stamp duty will apply if you're purchasing 6 or more of these properties. So a very quick run through on student accommodation, very brief. This is just general comments rather than specific advice to any person. You know that if you need advice, come to us at Property Tax Advice, Riverview Portfolio, and we'll be pleased to help you. Contact details, as always, are at the end of this video. Thanks. Bye now.